to lick Duke, but he doesn't want it on his face, Mickey. You've got to be polite, okay? Oh, you've got a bit. Mickey, please don't make a hole in it. Hello, Duke. Thank you for the kisses. Thank you. I'm trying to read. Oh, Mickey is licking. Oh, I leave you guys for 2 seconds. 2 seconds and you've already knocked over my seat. Yeah, can I sit down? Can you, Mickey, you're gonna have to move your nose out the way. I'm gonna sit on your nose. Yeah, okay. We've got Duke here, we've got Mickey here. Oh, do you wanna go this side? Then we have one each side, is that good? All right, hello everybody, this is Esme and welcome back to Stable Talk, the series where I pretty much embarrass myself and you can feel better about your equestrian journey. So in my last episode of Stable Talk, which was the first one, which you guys absolutely loved, so thank you so much to all of you that commented your equestrian confessions on my last video. There were over 1,000, I believe. So there were so many, I read as much as I could, and there were some really good ones. Not to spoil anything too much, but a lot of the stories involved you guys falling off and involved horse muck or horse poo. Some of them crossed over a little bit where you guys fell into horse muck. Not to spoil anything, but yeah, also, for the next episode of Stable Talk, the topic is going to be equestrian pet peeves. So an example of mine is I hate it when people have like a wet, sweaty girth, maybe it's covered in mud, and they put it on top of their saddle, and then their beautiful, lovely saddle gets disgusting. Now, this pet peeve, bit of a hypocrite, because I used to do this. When I first had Mickey and had Tack, I didn't realise how bad this was, and I used to do it. Also, the other thing that's kind of like I hate that I used to do is not undoing my girth buckles. I'd undo it on one side and then just flip it over. That's really not too great for your saddle. So that's something I used to do, so everyone feel free to laugh at me. But anyway, that's one of my equestrian pet peeves. Let me know in the comments below. Also, I'll be picking out all of my subscribers' comments, so be sure to subscribe if you can. That would be great. Thank you. All you need is a Google account and it's free, so if you decide that my videos aren't for you, you can leave at any time. But yeah, I had so much fun reading out your guys' equestrian confessions, so let's get started. And you started licking already. Duke as always, is going to be in and out, shaking it about, popping in when he wants to, because you're still getting used to the YouTube live. Okay, guys, I've got to look at my phone screen and read them out, and so far my hands are covered in slobber. I'm going to have to wipe it on the new Halloween hoodie. Sorry, hoodie, you're being sacrificed today by the slobber. So yeah, let's have a look. Oh my gosh, Duke, you're picking up the licking now as well. You just licked my knee. Oh, okay. The first one is from Scared Avocado. So she says, I'm Brooke and this is my embarrassing story. I haven't been riding very long, the first time in April, in fact. Oh, welcome to riding. I fell off riding the school pony when he bolted with me after he spooked a trotting pole when he accidentally tapped his foot on it. Fair enough. Joey does that sometimes. If he accidentally touches a pole, I feel like it's more like he just gets upset with himself. If he knocks like a jump, he's like, oh, I shouldn't have knocked that. And then he can, run off a little bit. But when he bolted, he did a sudden sharp turn. Oh no, that never ends up well. And I went outside the side door. We've all been there, guys. We've all fallen off the side door. I feel like it's the easiest way to just, when they do a sharp turn, it's like, oh, and you're off. When I fell off, I rolled, and what felt like a flip when I fell. Hello, Duke. Thank you for the kisses. Thank you. I'm trying to read. Oh, Mickey is licking Duke. We've got it all happening here. Sorry, guys. So she flipped off into the sand, rolled, and my entire jumper rolled up, revealing everything. Oh no. I didn't know anyone there, and my instructor because it was a new group and I just joined. So far, that's my most embarrassing riding story in my riding journey. Definitely so excited for the upcoming stories to tell. I'm sure there'll be a lot. And thankfully I changed riding stables, so nobody knows me there. Nobody knows about it other than my mum and everyone watching today's video. So thank you so much, Brooke, for sending in your embarrassing story. I've got to say, my top hasn't come off while I've fallen off, but there has been sand in places where sand should not be, and that's always interesting when it comes to having a shower. Okay, what's another one? Okay, my embarrassing story. Okay, this is from Sydney. So it says, my embarrassing story. One time I was at the barn and we're going for a hack and I was getting my horse ready and the instructor said, this is Doodle. And I quite loudly said, oh, hi, Doo-Doo, thinking that the horse was called Doo-Doo instead of Doodle. And the man looked at me and just laughed. I went on for the whole ride thinking that the horse was called Doo-Doo and not Doodle. Oh, okay, I swear, okay, some horses do have really difficult or weird names because I can relate to this. I had a similar thing, but I was at a professional rider's yard. So I was with Ollie and Will Fletcher, we were filming there, and one of their horses I thought was called Horse. And I thought, you know what, it's not the most creative name. Fair enough, there might be a story behind it. I was just being polite, calling the horse because that's what I thought its name was. Little did I know that afterwards, when I went on their Instagram and looked at the horse, it wasn't called Horse, it was called Horst, so H-O-R-S-T. And I felt so embarrassed afterwards that the whole time I was there, I was just calling this horse, Horse. Okay, on to the next one. Ooh, embarrassing stories. I have quite a few of those. So this is from Mary. One time I was riding my OTTB, which is an off-the-track thoroughbred, and it was quite wet and mucky on that day. Anyway, there was a huge puddle in one of the corners of the arena, and I was cantering him round and warming him up. Okay, big puddle. I feel like that's going to be the direction of the story. When we were getting close to the puddle, he took an enormous leap and jumped right over this huge puddle. I was caught completely off guard and went flying and landed splat in the mud. It was so embarrassing, but looking back on it, it was quite hilarious. I feel like there are two types of horses in this world, ones that love water and ones that hate it. I can relate to that because Casper is one of the horses where he doesn't actually mind water too much, it's just he does not like getting his hooves wet. Once he's in the water, he's fine and will go straight in it, but it's the first initial getting into the water, it's not his favourite thing. So every time I go on a hack and there's like a puddle going across the path, I have to prepare myself. I know that Casper will launch himself all the way over, which fair enough, you know, they're horses. He's not stupid. You never know how deep it's going to be. And I guess jumping over it's probably better than going in a really, really deep puddle. But yeah, some horses can be like that. So I'm sorry that you got in the puddle. I feel like it's always the worst falling off in the winter, and it'll always be so embarrassing because if you land in like a muddy puddle, then for the rest of your ride and the rest of the time that you see people, like it would always be at Pony Club, I'd fall off into the wettest, boggiest patch, and then people would know you've fallen off because you'd be wearing your cream breeches, looking all smart, and they'd just have this like big black brown stain, especially if it was like a rubber arena as well and like a bit of the rubber stain went off. My poor mum having to wash my breeches and jodhpurs that got absolutely filthy, so I can relate to that one. Okay, I know you want to lick Duke, but he doesn't want it on his face, Mickey. You've got to be polite, okay? What other ones do we have? So this next one is from Louise. My embarrassing story. So I was mucking out my pony stable and I took the wheelbarrow to the muck heap, and since it was the middle of winter, it had been raining, and you can imagine that it was slippy. Okay, this is not going to end well. This is not going to end well. I was using all my strength to push this load up the muck heap, and I slipped and I fell into years worth of horse muck. Yay, I guess. Oh, Louise, I'm so sorry. Let me know in the comments below if this has happened to you, because I feel like in every equestrian's life this happens once to you. I have that, but what we did with our old muck heap, thank you, Mickey, with our old muck heap, we had planks of wood that we'd use to put the wheelbarrow up just because it was a bit easier than sort of going through the squelchy horse muck. So I was trying to push it up this wheelbarrow, and it was actually me who slipped. I slipped on the wet sort of wooden plank, and I slipped down, and then it all went on me as well. So yeah, it's not the best. Being an equestrian in the winter, no. You have to be a special type of person to be able to survive the winter. All right, so this next one is from Kimberly. I was trying out for my college equestrian team, and I had no idea that they even had a team. Therefore, I didn't have my riding boots or helmet with me. They wanted to do a test to see my skill level, and I tacked up a horse just fine. Or so I thought. Oh no. What happened next was a blur. I put my foot in the stirrup and hit the ground. The girth was loose. Those pesky ponies that like puff out their tummy. Casper is one of them. I think Mickey used to do that as well. I always know if my girth is loose because I usually put it on the same hole each time, because Casper puffs his tummy out so much. I always have to check my girth so many times before I get on. Especially it must be really different riding a horse that you're not used to as well. So the girth was loose, but did I just fall on the ground? Of course not. I landed into horse droppings, fresh horse droppings, in front of the whole future team. After getting up, I took a step back right into a warm puddle. Mind you, it was winter. Oh no, that warm puddle must have been horse pee. Walking the entire length of my college campus with my backside and parts of my hair covered in mud, pee and poo, I died a million deaths. Oh, Kimmy, I am so sorry that happened to you. That mustn't have been too fun, especially like if it was with your friends and things. I feel like that's something you'd laugh about, but if it's like with the whole college equestrian team that you don't know, I can just imagine the silence being very loud then. So I'm really sorry that happened to you. It was quite funny though. But thank you for sending in your equestrian confessions, Kimberly. This next story is from Tegan, and she said, I went for my first cross-country lesson a few days ago, and my horse Merlin was coming up with me to a water jump and stopped. I went over his neck, and he decided that was a great time to have a poo. Oh no, what I want to know is, did you fall in the water and did you fall in the poo? Because I feel like, I don't know what would be worse actually, because the water you'd be wet for the rest of the day, and the poo you probably would get less sort of wet on you, but it would be pretty stinky. So I don't know what would be worse. I haven't fallen into a water jump, touch wood yet. Touch wood, I've got a wooden seat. I'm not superstitious, but just in case. No, I haven't done that yet, but Casper has a really bad habit. I don't know what it is, I think it's like a horse natural instinct kind of thing. He will poo every time he goes through water. Now the problem is that every time I do pony club and we'd do like a cross-country clinic or camp and there'd be water, there would always be one pony that wouldn't really want to go in the water much. So my dad would come along, and he'd very kindly, the first sort of time we did cross-country, he took his shoes off, or he went in through the water with his shoes on and got wet feet and helped lead in all the ponies. So, and Casper pooed in the water as well. So he would have been walking through this pooey water with all these other ponies, this sort of horse muck cocktail, as you can imagine. So that wouldn't have been too nice. But yeah, I would not want to fall into a water jump, because you can just imagine all the horses that have been through there. Wouldn't be the nicest of water, I can't lie. So this one is from Phoebe, and she says, I once had a lesson where I was wearing my brand new air jacket. However, when the lesson was finished, I forgot to unclip it from the saddle, and when I dismounted, it inflated and really scared me, my horse and my instructor and everyone else in the lesson. Those air jackets can be pretty noisy. I think while I've worn one, it's only sort of gone off twice, and that was when I did fall off. I feel like there was one time with Casper where I probably could have stood and it went off, and he didn't like the noise and galloped across the other side of the cross-country field. So yeah, that could be pretty scary, especially if you forget. Usually when I wear one, I'm with other people, and I'm always like, when I get on my horse, I'm like, remind me before I get off to unclip it, because also my parents would be like, Esme, do not fall off, because if you do, we're gonna have to buy another air canister, and those are expensive. So I had to buy my own air canisters if I fell off because, yeah. I think Duke's probably having another pee in Casper's stable. What is he doing? Oh, he's licking Casper's walls. I don't know why. Baby horse thing. Maybe it tastes good. I don't know why. Oh, hello, Mickey. Oh, thank you. Mickey does this thing where when he's just drunk some water, he sticks his tongue out, kind of like this. And now you have the wettest, lickiest chops ever. And I've just got covered in water and your saliva. Cheers, Mickey. Good thing I love you. Yep. Mwah. Okay, what else do we have? Oh no. Okay, this one's from Kate, and she says, I was feeding my pony in her stable, and then she nudged me with her head. I fell back into her water bucket, and she just says, please put this in the video, thanks, Esme. Oh, I feel like when something like that happens, like if you fall off or if you fall over, it either goes so quickly, and it's like a snap of your fingers and you're on the ground, or it's one of those things where it's in like slow motion, and as much as you move yourself, you just can't get out of the way or get in the right position, and then you're like, no. I don't know if you guys can relate to that, but I feel like there's two different types of falling over or falling off. This next one is from Sarah, and she says, my embarrassing horsey story is that once my horse Rose and I were out for a hack, and while we're going down the road, a car saw us and slowed down and stopped. And then that was when Rose decided to poo, and we and the poor person in the car had to sit there and wait for my horse to do her business. Oh, that could be awkward, especially if it's like a really long wee as well. Because I always find like horses take a little while to wee because, you know, they go out, they spread their legs out, and then like, especially if they're getting a bit older, like Casper, he takes a few minutes to, you know, get ready. And yeah, that must have been a really lovely car driver to have waited for you. I have a similar story, but it's with this little guy here, Mickey, when I used to ride him. And it was the worst place for him to do a poo. So we were going on our hack, and I don't know why, because this actually happened more than once, even more mortifying. I don't know if it's the distance, but one of our neighbour's house in our village, I don't know what it was, maybe it was after moving for a little bit on our hack, it was just like the perfect place for Mickey to do a poo, because he did a poo outside their driveway quite a few times. Now on this particular occasion, it was even worse because there was a car coming and it maybe had like a trailer or something, so it was a little bit spooky, and we know our neighbour well. So I just went into her driveway. So Mickey's legs were like on the driveway, but his tail was actually a little bit near the sort of verge, nice sort of pruned roses and garden there. And when the car went past, Mickey decided while he was standing there, it was the best time to do a poo. And what was even more mortifying and horrifying is that this neighbour we know well, and I always wave to her when she's having her breakfast in the morning, sitting in her like front kitchen, and she was waving to me, and I was just there like, do I wave back? Trying to kick Mickey on, being like, no Mickey, this is not the place to poo. And before I know it, I was kind of like, waving, smiling, horrified as Mickey decided to give her a bit of fertiliser for the garden. I felt really bad. We carried on our hack, and I was going to come back and pick it up. And horse poo is quite big. It's not like dog poo where you can just kind of put it in a bag and take it with you. It's nicer than dog poo, you know, it washes away quite easily with a bit of rain, and we have a lot of rain over here. And I felt horrified. Luckily, her gardener was there on that particular day, and he picked it up and put it on the roses. So it kind of was a bit of a special Mickey present to her. I'd rather he didn't do that, but I felt really bad, and yeah, that was pretty embarrassing. Yeah, Mick, do you remember that? Where you made me feel absolutely awful, yeah? You stinky, yeah? Well, I guess, Mickey, when you gotta go, you gotta go. And just as Duke decides to have a scratch with his back leg, that was actually quite flexible, mate. I didn't know you could do that. impressed. Okay, so this next one is from Becca, and she just, please don't judge this one. There was this one time where I was riding my horse for the badminton qualifiers and we were jumping. Things were going great until we came up to a green fence, and my horse used to spook at green, but I tried my best to get her out of it. I thought that everything was going fine, we cleared the fence, and that's when everything went wrong. My horse decided to take a bathroom break right after the jump. Mickey's done that before. You know, stopped, had a poo, and I had to do a circle because we were just too close to the jump to be able to make a run up to it. So, oh no. Whenever my horses poo in my lessons, my riding instructor always says, you do know they can do that while galloping in the wild, but I feel like my horses have the easy life. They always get to stop for that. Right after a jump, and then she heard something outside that I can only assume was a motorbike. Long story short, don't ask me how, she ended up kicking while she pooed, and her dropping went flying up onto the wall with people watching at the time, of course. I think it's safe to say we didn't make it through. I've got to say, that is pretty impressive if your horse like managed to poo and leap up and kick the poo. Like, that is some karate moves there. My horses also like to do something a little bit similar, but in their stables, I don't know why, don't know how, they always end up pooing up against the walls. I don't know if anybody else's horses do this, it's so gross. Also, Joey does this thing whenever he poos in the horse box, which is usually just as we've put the ramp up. Casper used to do that with the trailer as well. He always poos on the wall. Also, I've got a video of it where Joey once pooed up on the window kind of sill or window ledge. So I walked into a stable and there was just like a poo up on the wall of the window. And I'm like, Joey, are you like putting what? I was so confused, I was speechless. I was like, how is this, number one, physically possible? And number two, like, what is the reason for this? I mean, I don't know. And she also said, also, I bought the yearbook and it was signed. Thank you so much. You're an incredible person, an amazing inspiration and role model. Hope to see you at Horse of the Year show, Becca. Well, Horse of the Year show's been, so I hope I saw you. And thank you so much for getting my book. I really appreciate that. That's so sweet. Okay, on to the next one. And this last one is from Savannah, and she says, my embarrassing story, a horse called Wilma got mud on her nose and she snorted it all over my brand new jacket and she had to clean it all. Oh, I can relate to that. Whenever I wear like new stuff up to the yard, at first I'd be like, oh, Mickey, try not to lick it and try not to get dirt on it. But I feel like now it's just gonna happen, you know? There's no sort of trying to not get dirty when you come and see the horses. Like today, with this little guy here, just licking away at my jumper. Do I know why? No. Oh, he stopped now. Oh, you've got a bit. Mickey, please don't make a hole in it. You can lick, but no chewing, okay? Anyway, guys, I think on that note, we're gonna finish it off there. Before it ends, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to every single one of you that put in your embarrassing stories. I had so much fun reading them. Unfortunately, I can't fit them all into one video, but if you'd like to maybe be in the next one, then be sure to comment below your equestrian pet peeves. What are the things that maybe your horses do or other people do that you're just like, oh, that just bugs me? For example, when shavings get out of place in a bed and like your horse like walks into the stable. Joey does this every time. Every time I put him in a stable, he will go and wee on his brand new shavings and like completely mess them up, walk all over them, and it's just like, oh, it was so satisfying before, you just had to go and ruin it. But anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you're new or have not done so already, please like and subscribe. It really does help me out and I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you all next time. Bye! Mickey, you could just stand here and lick my jumper all day. Like, the saliva has gone all the way through now. It's so soaking. It's so wet. Okay, I think that's enough licking for today. Okay, is that all right? Yeah? Oh, you're so sweet. Duke! Dukey! You came back! He loves Casper's stable. What have you found? Do you want to come and say bye? Come on. I don't have any treats, but